The ultimatum. The day the massive ships appeared in Earth's orbit started like any other. Clear blue skies transformed into an ominous canvas as 7 colossal vessels materialized, their surfaces gleaming with an iridescent sheen that seemed to absorb and reflect light simultaneously. Major Emma Chen stood at the command center of the Global Defense Alliance, her normally composed demeanor tested by the sight on the main view screen. "All stations, status report," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension electrifying the air. Lieutenant Damon Ward, the communications specialist, looked up from his console. "Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. Global broadcast on all frequencies." Chen nodded. "Put it through." The screen flickered before revealing a tall, slender figure with silvery skin that seemed to flow like liquid mercury. 4 violet eyes arranged in a perfect diamond pattern regarded them with cold calculation. "People of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice a perfect harmonic blend that seemed both organic and synthetic simultaneously. "I am High Commander Telvix of the Galactic Council. Your planet has reached a developmental threshold that requires our intervention. The Council has monitored your species for 3 centuries and has determined that you qualify for protectorate status." Chen stepped forward. "This is Major Emma Chen of Earth's Global Defense Alliance. We welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations, but Earth is a sovereign world. What exactly does protectorate status entail?" All 4 of Telvix's eyes blinked in perfect synchronization. "It means you will benefit from Council guidance and technology. Your species has demonstrated remarkable potential, but lacks the disciplined development necessary for galactic citizenship. Under our protection, you will avoid the self-destructive tendencies that plague primitive species. And if we prefer to maintain our independence?" Chen asked, even as analysts behind her frantically assessed the alien vessel's capabilities. "That would be inadvisable," Telvix replied, the harmonics in its voice shifting to a minor key. "Unaligned worlds create instability in established galactic order. You have 72 of your hours to accept our generous offer. After that, we will be forced to implement compliance protocols." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the command center in heavy silence. Analysis. Chen turned to her team. Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, head of Xenotechnology Research, stepped forward with a tablet displaying preliminary scans. "Their technology is unlike anything we've seen, Major. Energy signatures indicate weapons systems at least 50 years beyond our most advanced prototypes. Their hulls appear to be composed of a metamaterial that could potentially withstand our heaviest ordnance." "So we're outgunned," Chen stated flatly. "Overwhelmingly," Kapoor confirmed. "But there's something strange about their approach. Their ships maintain perfect geometric formations at all times. When they arrived, they decelerated in mathematically precise increments. Even their communication protocols follow rigid patterns." Lieutenant Ward looked up from his station. "I've analyzed their transmission frequencies. They operate on mathematical constants. No variation, no adaptive encryption. It's as if they've never needed to be unpredictable." Chen finished, a spark of realization dawning in her eyes. 6 hours later, inside the secure underground facility beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, 15 world leaders gathered around a circular table. Major Chen finished briefing them on the situation, her holographic presentation showing detailed analyses of the Council ships. "They're giving us an ultimatum," the president of the African Union stated grimly. "Submit or be conquered." "Their technology far exceeds our conventional capabilities," Chen acknowledged. "But there's a critical weakness in their approach, everything about them. Their ships, their tactics, their communication, follows strict patterns. They operate with absolute precision, but show no capacity for improvisation." "You're suggesting we fight them?" asked the European Federation Chancellor, incredulity evident in her voice. "With what? Our most advanced fighters would be like stone spears against tanks." Chen exchanged glances with Dr. Kapoor, then looked toward the shadowy figure sitting silently at the edge of the room. With a nod from the UN Secretary General, The figure stood and approached the table. "Ladies and gentlemen," said Director Alexei Volkov of the Deep Space Innovation Division, "what if I told you we've spent the last decade preparing for exactly this scenario?" The room fell silent as Volkov activated a hidden console on the table. A holographic image appeared, showing a sleek vessel unlike any Earth ship previously revealed to the public. "Project Nebula," Volkov announced. "A prototype starship built using principles that defy conventional physics and, more importantly, defy prediction." "What am I looking at, Director?" asked the Chinese premier. "The antithesis of Council technology," Volkov replied. "While they worship order and predictability, we've created a ship powered by chaos theory. Its quantum fluctuation drive generates propulsion by harnessing uncertainty principles. Its weapon systems utilized fractal dispersion patterns. Its very hull is composed of nanomaterials that reorganize randomly under stress." Dr. Kapoor elaborated. "The Council's tactics reveal beings who've evolved, or engineered themselves, to prize mathematical perfection above all. They've likely never encountered a species that embraces unpredictability as a strength. Their ships move in straight lines. Ours doesn't have to." "The Nebula isn't battle-tested," Volkov cautioned. "We've run simulations and 3 deep space trials, but this would be its first actual combat deployment." The UN Secretary General leaned forward. "And you believe this one experimental ship can stand against 7 advanced alien vessels?" "No," Chen answered honestly. "But I believe it can show them that humanity doesn't follow predictable patterns, and that might be enough to force them to reconsider." Debate raged for hours, but ultimately the decision was made. Earth would appear to negotiate while secretly preparing its one wild card. The next day, Major Chen and Dr. Kapoor found themselves aboard the Council's command ship, escorted by silent guards with perfectly symmetrical features. The corridors they walked through formed exact right angles, with decorative elements placed at precise intervals. Even the lighting maintained perfect uniformity, without a single shadow or bright spot. They were led to a vast chamber where representatives of the Council species sat in a perfect circle. Commander Telvik stood at the center, its mercury-like skin rippling slightly. "Major Chen, Dr. Kapoor," Telvik acknowledged. "The Council has agreed to demonstrate our capabilities so you may understand the futility of resistance." A massive view screen activated, showing an unoccupied section of space near the lunar orbit. 3 smaller Council vessels moved into a triangular formation. "Observe," Telvik said with unmistakable pride. Energy built between the 3 ships, forming a web of pulsing light that grew increasingly intense. Then, with blinding speed, it discharged as a perfect beam of coherent energy that traveled in an absolutely straight line. When it reached its target, an asteroid that had been positioned there, the space rock didn't explode. Instead, a perfect cylindrical section simply vanished, leaving a hole with geometrically perfect edges. "The precision beam," Telvik announced. "The pinnacle of Council military technology. It doesn't destroy. It removes matter with absolute precision, severing quantum bonds between particles. No explosive force, no radiation, no collateral damage, just perfect excision." Chen maintained a neutral expression, but her mind raced with the tactical implications. "Impressive," she said carefully. "Earth has nothing comparable." "Of course not," Telvik replied, condescension evident in its harmonic tones. "Your species still relies on explosive propellants and crude ballistics. You have barely mastered basic orbital technology." "How does the targeting system function?" Kapoor asked, his scientific curiosity appearing genuine. Telvik seemed pleased by the question. "The beam can only travel in a perfect straight line. Once our 3 ships establish the firing solution, it cannot be altered. This is why precise positioning and mathematical certainty are the foundations of Council military doctrine." "And if the target moves?" Chen asked innocently. Several Council members made sounds that might have been laughter. "In space warfare, True technological superiority removes the need for unpredictability, Telvix explained with evident pride. Our targeting systems can calculate an object's movement with perfect accuracy, allowing us to position our forces where the target will be, not where it is. The demonstration continued as council ships performed increasingly complex maneuvers, always in perfect formations. They carved asteroids into perfect geometric shapes with surgical precision and showed off fleet movements where hundreds of smaller vessels moved in perfect synchronization. As they returned to their shuttle afterward, Chen and Kapoor maintained silence until they were safely away from the council ship. They fire in straight lines, Chen said quietly, a smile forming at the corner of her mouth. And they expect everyone else to move in predictable patterns, Kapoor added. They fire in straight lines, Chen said quietly, a smile forming at the corner of her mouth. And they expect everyone else to move in predictable patterns, Kapoor added. Then it's time to show them how humanity fights, Chen replied, activating her secure communicator. This is Major Chen. Authorization code Nebula Sigma 9. Begin final preparations. Hidden in the shadow of Earth's moon, engineers made final adjustments to the U.S. Nebula, a ship designed not to fire straight, but to break every rule the Council lived by. Captain Rohan Sharma supervised as the Chaos Drive spooled up, its quantum fluctuations already creating ripples of unpredictability in nearby space. Status report, he commanded. Lieutenant Sophia Reyes, his executive officer, checked the final diagnostics. Chaos Drive at 97% efficiency. Fractal weapons array online. Adaptive shield harmonics fluctuating within acceptable parameters. And our special package? Sharma asked. Reyes smiled. The uncertainty protocol is ready for deployment, Captain. Then we wait, Sharma said, looking toward Earth, where billions of lives hung in the balance. When the Council demands their answer, humanity will give them one they never calculated. Humanity's answer. The final hours of Earth's deadline ticked away in tense silence. Inside the Antarctic command bunker, Major Emma Chen watched multiple displays tracking both the Council fleet and the U.S. Nebula, still hidden in lunar shadow. World leaders had retreated to secure locations, and military forces around the globe stood at maximum readiness, a symbolic gesture at best against the overwhelming technological superiority of the Council ships. Incoming transmission from the Council command vessel, Lieutenant Ward announced. Put it through, Chen ordered, straightening her uniform. Commander Telvix's metallic features appeared on screen, its 4 violet eyes arranged in that perfect diamond pattern. Your deliberation period has expired, Major Chen. The Council requires your answer. Will Earth accept protectorate status and the guidance of superior minds? Chen took a deliberate breath. Commander Telvix, we've carefully considered your offer. Earth respectfully declines protectorate status. We wish to establish a relationship of equals with the Galactic Council. All 4 of Telvix's eyes narrowed simultaneously. Equality must be earned through advancement, Major. Your species has not reached the necessary threshold. Perhaps you misunderstood. This is not a negotiation. We understood perfectly, Chen replied, her voice steady. Humanity chooses its own path. Then you choose extinction, Telvix stated without emotion. The Council will implement compliance protocols immediately. Your resistance will be documented as a cautionary reference for future primitive species. The transmission cut off abruptly. Seconds later, alarms blared throughout the command center. 3 Council vessels breaking formation, reported the tactical officer. They're moving into precision beam configuration near our lunar outpost. Chen activated her secure channel. Captain Sharma status. U.S. Nebula ready for deployment, Major, came the immediate response. Chaos Drive fully operational. Adaptive shields at maximum fluctuation. Fractal weapons primed. Chen looked around at her team, all of them understanding the historic weight of this moment. Captain Sharma, you are authorized to execute Operation Uncertainty. Show them what humanity brings to the galaxy. On the bridge of the U.S. Nebula, Captain Rohan Sharma stood from his command chair. Lieutenant Reyes, disengage magnetic moorings. Activate chaos drive at 20%. Let's introduce ourselves. The nebula detached from its lunar hiding place, its hull shimmering with subtle, unpredictable patterns that seemed to bend light around it. Unlike conventional engines with their predictable exhaust signatures, the chaos drive left a wake of quantum possibilities, multiple trajectory ghosts that made tracking nearly impossible. Council vessels have locked onto the lunar outpost, reported Ensign Marcus Lee from Tactical. They're powering up their precision beam. Perfect, Sharma smiled. They're committed to their firing solution. Execute Maneuver Chaos Alpha. The nebula shot forward, but not in a straight line. Its trajectory curved, wobbled, and spiraled in patterns that defied prediction algorithms. The ship accelerated and decelerated randomly, its path resembling the Brownian motion of particles more than the calculated trajectory of a starship. Aboard the Council command vessel, alarms sounded for the first time in centuries. High Commander, we detect an unknown vessel approaching from the Earth's moon, reported a Council officer, confusion evident in its harmonically perfect voice. Its movement pattern is irregular. Telvix's mercury skin rippled with the first signs of concern. Analyze trajectory and intercept. That's not possible, Commander. The vessel does not maintain a consistent trajectory. Our predictive algorithms cannot establish a firing solution. On the main view screen, they watched as the human vessel approached, its path a seemingly random series of accelerations, decelerations, and course changes. More disturbing still, the ship itself seemed to flicker between multiple potential positions simultaneously. Impossible, Telvix whispered. No advanced species would build such an inefficient propulsion system. The three Council vessels that had formed the precision beam array maintained their perfect triangular formation, energy building between them as they remained locked on their original target, the lunar outpost. The beam fired, a perfect line of energy that sliced through space, and hit nothing but vacuum as the nebula curved around it in a spiraling pattern. Recalculate and fire again, Telvix ordered. But the nebula was already changing course, its movements following no discernible logic. One moment it approached at high speed, the next it seemed to hang motionless, then suddenly it would dart sideways or even backward. The Council targeting systems, designed for mathematical perfection, could not compute the ship's next position with any accuracy. Sensors detecting energy buildup in the human vessel reported the Council tactical officer. Weapons signature, unknown configuration. Captain Sharma nodded to Lieutenant Reyes. Deploy fractal disruptors. Unlike conventional weapons that fired in straight lines or predictable arcs, the nebula's fractal disruptors released energy in patterns that branched and replicated exponentially. A seemingly small burst of energy split into dozens, then hundreds of smaller bursts, each following its own unpredictable path, but all converging on the nearest Council vessel. The alien ship's perfect defenses, calibrated for precise, linear attacks, failed completely against the chaotic assault. Energy tendrils slipped through shield gaps, disrupting systems throughout the vessel. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to introduce chaos into its perfectly ordered operations. First blood to us, Sharma noted with satisfaction. Now for the main event. Deploy the Uncertainty Protocol. The nebula released dozens of small drones, each one programmed with the same chaos-based movement algorithms as their mothership. They swarmed toward the Council vessels like quantum butterflies, their paths impossible to predict, their signatures fluctuating between different energy states. Aboard the Council command ship, Telvix watched in growing horror as the ordered battle it had expected dissolved into incomprehensible chaos. The Council's perfect formations were breaking down as ships tried to target the unpredictable human drones while maintaining their geometric positioning. Two objectives proving mutually exclusive. This defies all principles of advanced warfare, Telvix declared, genuine confusion in its voice. Their tactics are wasteful, inefficient, illogical, and effective. Chen's voice came through suddenly on all Council communication channels. The human had somehow broken through their perfect encryption. "This is how humanity fights, Commander Telvix. We don't follow straight lines. We adapt. We improvise. We embrace uncertainty." On the tactical display, the Council precision beam array had become completely ineffective. The three vessels maintained their triangle formation, but with the nebula and its drones moving in unpredictable patterns, they couldn't establish a firing solution long enough to charge their weapon. "Impossible," Telvix whispered, watching as human chaos overwhelmed Council order. The nebula executed a series of movements that should have been physically impossible, apparently occupying multiple positions simultaneously due to quantum fluctuations in its drive system. It approached the Council command vessel not in a direct attack run, but in a spiraling dance that confused all defensive calculations. Final phase. Sharma ordered as the nebula came within 100 kilometers of Telvix's vessel. "Deploy the message." The nebula didn't fire another weapon. Instead, it projected a holographic display visible to all Council ships, a simple visualization of Earth's evolutionary history. It showed not a linear progression, but a tangled branching tree with countless dead ends and surprising adaptations. It showed humans making mistakes, learning from them, and trying new approaches. It showed warfare evolving from rigid formations to guerrilla tactics, from predictable patterns to strategic chaos. "We've studied your Council." Chen's voice continued throughout the alien fleet. 27 species, all evolved or engineered toward perfect order. But the universe isn't ordered, Commander. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and constantly changing. That's the environment humanity evolved in. That's the strength we bring. The nebula maintained its impossible positioning, quantum fluctuations allowing it to exist in a probability cloud rather than a single definite location, making it effectively impossible to target with Council weapons. "Your precision beam is devastating," Chen acknowledged, "but it only works against targets that move predictably. Your formations are perfect but fall apart against an enemy that doesn't follow the rules. You've engineered the chaos out of your societies, and in doing so, you've created your greatest vulnerability." Aboard the Council command vessel, Telvix conferred frantically with other Council representatives. Their perfect order was unraveling in the face of human unpredictability. 3 smaller Council vessels had collided trying to intercept the swarming drones. The precision beam array had wasted enormous energy firing at quantum shadows. Nothing in their experience had prepared them for an enemy that embraced randomness as a tactical advantage. Finally, Telvix reopened the communication channel. "Major Chen, your demonstration is noted. The Council has never encountered your particular approach to technology and tactics. Then perhaps we do have something to offer the galaxy after all," Chen suggested. "Not as a protectorate, but as equals with a unique perspective." Hours later, in the Antarctic command bunker, Major Chen briefed Earth's leaders on the unprecedented development. "They're calling it a strategic reassessment period," she explained. "The Council has withdrawn to the outer solar system while they analyze our technology and reconsider their approach." "Will they attack again?" asked the UN Secretary-General. "I don't believe so," Chen replied. "Their entire civilization is built on predictability and perfect calculations. We've shown them that their perfect equations have a critical variable they never accounted for: human unpredictability. They literally don't know what to do with us." Dr. Kapoor stepped forward with his analysis. "The Council developed along evolutionary lines that prized order above all. Their technology is impressive, but specialized for a particular approach to physics and warfare. The chaos drive and fractal weapons represent an entirely different paradigm, one they're struggling to understand, let alone counter." Director Volkov nodded in satisfaction. Project Nebula was designed precisely for this scenario, not to outgun a technologically superior force, but to introduce an element they couldn't calculate. "What happens now?" asked the European Federation Chancellor. "Commander Telvix has requested a diplomatic meeting," Chen answered. "Not to discuss our surrender, but to establish formal relations between Earth and the Galactic Council as equals. The room erupted in celebration, but Chen raised a hand for quiet. There's more. They've offered technological exchange. Their precision systems for our chaos applications. They seem to have realized that their perfect order left them vulnerable to unpredictable threats. In their own way, they're adapting. Captain Sharma's voice came through on the command channel. Major, you should know. We're detecting unusual activity in the Council fleet. Their formations are changing. Changing how, Captain? Chen asked. They're introducing deliberate variations in their geometric patterns, small, calculated deviations from perfect symmetry. I think they're trying to learn from us. Chen smiled. And so humanity makes its mark on the galaxy, not through superior firepower or technology, but by teaching an ancient civilization the value of unpredictability. 1 week later, Major Emma Chen and Captain Rowan Sharma stood in the Council's Grand Chamber, now rearranged with subtle asymmetries that would have been unthinkable before the encounter with humanity. Commander Telvix approached, its mercury skin flowing with new patterns. The Council has existed for 50,000 of your years, Telvix stated, its harmonic voice now incorporating minor variations that made it sound less synthetic. In all that time, we have added new species to our collective, sharing our perfect order throughout the galaxy. Today, for the first time, we acknowledge that we have something to learn as well. Humanity is honored to join the galactic community, Chen replied. We bring chaos, yes, but creative chaos that drives innovation and adaptation. Perhaps, Telvix acknowledged, that is exactly what the Council needs to continue its evolution. The universe, as you have shown us, is not a perfect equation to be solved, but an ongoing experiment to be experienced. As the formal ceremonies continued, Chen glanced at Sharma with a small smile. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged not just surviving but teaching. The stars had opened to them, not because they matched the Council's perfection, but because they dared to be gloriously, unpredictably human.